believe everybody can go to heaven?
Yeah.
I would say to you, there is not a Jew on the face of this earth that would think you, the I-Man, can go to heaven.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Did you know that during the end...
Continuing his mission to regain political viability, here is the billionaire industrialist, founder of United We Stand, H. Ross Perot.
Quite a bit for us to talk about today, Amos. Had one of my polling outfits take a look at some actuarial tables the other day, came up with a new health risk. Got a chart for you. National health risk based on incidents per 1,000 population. You with me? Yeah. Okay. This here is car wrecks. This here's handguns. And the whole damn rest of the pie here is having your phone ring and it being that pant load in the White House nominating you to something. It's just sad, Amos. But 2 years in and Bill Clinton still doesn't get it. Look at these people who've gone down fighting for their lives. Zoe Baird, Lanny Guinier, Mike Espy, Roger Altman, Webb Hubble, Vince Foster, Jocelyn Elders, to name just a few. And you know they're measuring up Ron Brown for one of those one-size-fits-all jumpsuits in traffic cone orange right now. And what do we get? Banjo-picking, fetus-flicking Dr. Henry Foster, Amos. We go from Jocelyn Elders, who looks like she ate 5 guys named Mo, to this fella who sounds like O.J. Simpson running up yardage as he tries to remember how many abortions he's done. Did you hear him on Nightline? Henry's running right. Henry's running left. He's at the 1, the 12, the 39, the 84. Looks like he was so casual about abortions that you would have thought he was catching fireflies in a pickle bottle, Amos. And, of course, his worst nightmare now, Jocelyn Elders is speaking out in his behalf. Is there no way that masturbating mama won't just go away?
You mean, beat it?
Oh, shut up, Amos. And speaking of women you cannot get rid of, Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
How come Clinton can't appoint her to something? He might just as well. It sounds like she's in on more decisions than Warren Christopher. Everything from invading Haiti to picking this Doc Kevorkian of the pediatric ward. Can't say Perot finds himself agreeing with that New York Times friend of yours very often, that Frank Rich fella.
Yeah.
But he's got a pair of vice grips on Streisand, making that speech at Harvard.
Yeah.
Do you remember that sinus medicine ad on TV that has that huge talking nose? Can't get it out of my mind, Amos. That huge nose standing at a rostrum, preaching to an already converted bunch of culture-subsidizing eggheads who couldn't frame an issue in plain English if their life depended on it, and who are still in full-blown November 8th denial. Hey, can I get in one O.J. question before I go?
All right.
Is that the damnedest, smartest dog you ever saw, or what, Amos? Sounds to me like the only thing he didn't do was to pin on a badge, drive a squad car to the murder scene, then go and drag O.J. out of his house and slap the cuffs on him. I mean, if the prosecution wants to win this thing, fire Hodgman and hire the dog. You can use that for your soundbite, Amos, and much obliged for having me on your show.
Here's the greatest harp player in the world, Delbert McClellan.
Bruce Chanel, when he had a hit with Hey Baby, and I got to go to England with him in '62. The Beatles were the opening act on some of the shows. We palled around with those guys, and John said, show me something on the harp. And people say that that's what you hear on Lovely Do, you know. I'm not going to argue with that.
Imus in the morning.
In case you're out there in Santa Barbara, California, or in Portland, Oregon, or in Fargo, North Dakota, never heard of Delbert McClellan. The boy a little fat, but he sure can't sing. Every time I roll the dice. All right.
You got a roof, but don't leave.
All right. George Patton coming out and Fred Imus later.
Not too many years ago, when dreams weren't coming true, I'd reach for inspiration. Sometimes it would be you. I'd hear you on the radio. I sure didn't like your sound. It's good to know there's still a few country boys around.
Imus in the morning.
Graham, nationally syndicated gossip columnist Liz Smith. Good morning, Liz.
You know, I used to be a fan of Barbara Streisand. But what was once a hopeless devotion to the supreme she-goddess of song is now an unconditionally repugnant loathing for the dippy diva. The velvet voice that I, too, once thought was like butter now only has an abhorrent Pavlovian effect on my repulsion instinct. Except my mouth isn't watering, it's bile backwash. Who cares what she thinks about the Republican Congress? Sing secondhand rose, you rat-faced narcissist. And I don't use the term narcissist lightly.
I'm fine.
Anyone who read Frank Rich's column in the Times the other day would really have to wonder about somebody who will call a network control room to adjust the audio feed on a television broadcast. Especially seeing that the program in question was a showing of The Prince of Tides, a piece of
Shut up.
Yeah, that's what was wrong, Babs. The sound was off. Those 2 dBs made all the difference in the world. Up until you made the adjustment, I just assumed that the problem was that you couldn't act. She's been deified to the point of idiocy. So the cross-eyed bimbo can sing. Why does that automatically make her a combination of Marie Curie, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Joan of Arc? It's bad enough that she wields enough power in show business to command an audience with heads of state, but speaking at Harvard? That one's up there on the ludicrous scale, right next to Colin Ferguson's, asking the very people he shot if they can identify who shot him. Except he's a hell of a lot more articulate than she and makes infinitely more sense. Let me tell you, speaking there is the only way Barbara Streisand would ever end up at Harvard. No one's gonna accuse her of being wise beyond her linear years. If she didn't have that voice, she'd be just another burrowing mammal, working for some corporation as a special events coordinator, ensuring that there were enough rumaki for the welcome cocktail reception at the annual sales convention. This political analysis from people who are eminently unqualified to offer it is a dangerously growing trend. We must nip it in the bud. Otherwise, we will be doomed to an existence peppered with outspoken characters such as Fred Imus, the merchant of Santa Fe, offering his assessment of the O.J. trial. All we want to know from you, Fred, is whether or not you can get blood stains out of one of your turquoise buffalo T-shirts. Because we're seriously thinking about stabbing ourselves.
Fred. Yeah. It's starting already. I've lived in this apartment 12 years. If she's there 20 minutes, I have to break the door down. Jesus God.
The key is still caught in the door, but Tito said he has to drill the cylinder out and put a new one in.
He's an idiot.
That's the only way he can do it. He tried all these other things, whatever he's doing, he's spraying all this stuff.
Hey, why doesn't he try pulling the key out?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Hey, honey.
Yes?
You know that 9X phone I bought you?
Yes.
It vibrates. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Well, what do we need that for?
Well, you'll see in about 3 months.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Step up to a great night's sleep, baby. Sports rolls on.
Back up top to Rosati, steps in, dishes right side sails, looks, gets it inside Elliott, down low Lobo, her reverse is good. Spectacular ball movement by the Huskies, resulting in Lobo's turtle, and it's 23-8.
Oh, man, them Husky women.
Good grief.
Hi, it's Ibis the Breen. That was Joe D'Ambrosio with a play-by-play call on the Yukon Radio Network, University of Connecticut. About the fact that I like this woman who is a child. She's not a child. She's 30 years old. That's not a child. When she's 50,
You'll be
73.
that'll be perfect.
So what would be wrong with a 73-year-old man being in a relationship
With a 50-year-old?
with a 50-year-old woman?
Because she'll be hovering over that plug, wondering whether she should pull it.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Shut up a minute.
Fine. Where'd you go?
I'm over here looking for
your teeth?
Looking for his porcelain.
We had a discussion about all this, didn't we?
I'm sorry. I think you left it in the ambulance.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
And Jerry Spence, Delbert McClellan, and Fred Imus. All coming up. Here's Rush Limbaugh.
He's a Buffalo Bill who had some time to kill. O.J.
OJ. You should pray to above. She loses that bloody glove, OJ. She's white, she's right, but not very bright, OJ. He won't cry, he'll deny, say goodbye. OJ running left, OJ 5-4, maybe more, I don't know. Maybe. Washington Senior Military.
But that's a tough thing to say. That's unbelievable to say that. 5 o'clock, oh, then we're coming back, don't go away.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Hold on you that no other sport does. I don't care how much you love football. No other sport. Great job, Bob Gelb, last 2 days. Lisa Johnson, too. Eddie and Susan until 10. Peter Gammons later on. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10. Enjoy your Friday on the Fan. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
I'm Joe Tollison with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Knicks basketball.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
6:05 here in the Fan. I'm Susan Waldman along with Ed Coleman. We'll be here till 10 o'clock. 6:25, we will talk to General Manager of the New York Mets, such as they are, Joe McElvain. Peter Gammons at 8:05. He was all over this story down in Washington. He's got more sources than anyone on earth. And we'll try and get a unbiased opinion on what's really going on. Hello, Eddie. Did you have a good day off?
Yes, I did, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Not much, as a matter of fact, Susan. Just trying to get to... 2-937-6666. Coleman and Wallman here on the Fan.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
Hi, I'm Kim Alexa.
Get back. So kind of a dicey situation, and I think all parties concerned are trying to be very cautious and play it close to the vest and have teams of lawyers investigating contracts where they can justifiably say, you know, look, we'll maybe cover the games, but we'll not do it the same way that we cover the regular games. Who knows? And I'm sure they hope that it's never going to come to that.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
They have any legal reason why they couldn't try to do it and try to masquerade that as real baseball. Richard Neer, I'll be back again next Saturday at 5, thanks to Susan Harrison. Coming up, Christopher Mad Dog Russo, right after Mink and the Update.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
Patrick Ewing. That's what's happening. This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Rangers hockey.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN, New York.
Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Nice to have you with us on a Saturday morning here in New York. A nice day indeed. Good to have you aboard. Stevie Cohen, Sue Harrison across the way. 718-937-6666. That's your two-way sports talk telephone number to talk to you about the world of sports on a Saturday. And let's face it, let's not camouflage this. Not a whole heck of a lot to do. And
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
All right, 10:40 here on the Fan. Nice to have you with us. 718-937-6666. Phone calls after we do the Flash with Mink. Sports Radio 66.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Fifth George Foreman, the oldest heavyweight champion.
After that, some more phone calls, 718-937-6666. Also, we'll have a chance to chat with Islander goalie Jamie McLennan. Had himself quite an effort tonight. Olden will have more details on the Islanders' victory this afternoon. Ian Eagle taking you until 7:40. St. John's coming up then. Stay tuned.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
This is Mink making a big mistake getting married.
What about you getting married a second?
Oh, I was
You
good.
make it sound like that you've been,
I was
You
divorced.
were a failure, too, there in that department.
No. I was divorced 15 years. The first marriage was drunk.
You did
I was
not...
drunk.
Is that the reason why the marriage fell apart?
Oh, no, Chris, because I was such a nice guy around the house, all coked up and drinking vodka. No, I was Mr. C from Happy Days.
Get
out of here.
Thought she was gone 5 years before Don knew it.
Mike and the Mad Dog from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon. It's 5 o'clock. I'm Paul Olden.
Happy Saturday, flashback.
Here now, a late Whitewater update, the most recent developments in this rapidly unfolding story from the Imus in Washington Network Newsroom.
I'm your program host, David Brinkley of ABC News, joined by regulars Walter Cronkite, Rush Limbaugh, John Donald Imus, and on location in Washington, Newsweek correspondent Colonel David Hackworth.
And now, some news. First here in the District of Columbia. Rush. Walt's going to take this.
Well, but I thought we...
No. Think again.
First, here in the District of Columbia, the Clinton administration's chief spin doctor, David Gergen, hired with great fanfare to salvage the Clinton presidency, was bodily thrown out of the White House early today by Bernard Nussbaum, First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton, and White House Communications Director Mark Garrett. Our new man on staff, Colonel David Hackworth, is there. Colonel, what happened?
Yeah, just call me Hackwall. They threw him out of the ground floor window, butt naked, Walt. And while I like that part of it, the guy's just a total embarrassment, before Gergen signed on, no one had even heard of Whitewater. And with this idiot working on it, the whole presidency's about to go over a cliff. So this is just their way of saying, thanks a lot, you fairy. I'm telling you, Walt, for my money, they put the wrong guy in the park, Back to you guys.
On Capitol Hill, Senate Republicans... Rush. What? Dave's going to take this.
Oh, on Capitol Hill, Senate Republicans successfully pressed their case for congressional hearings into the Whitewater affair, as special counsel Robert Fisk dropped his adamant opposition and agreed to a compromise after meeting with New York Senator Alphonse D'Amato. Imus in Washington obtained the tape record of that crucial meeting. Senator D'Amato was heard speaking first at what appears to have been the key point in the discussion that swayed Mr. Fisk. Senator D'Amato.
Yo, matehead, you ain't listening good. You like the idea of walking up and down the Capitol steps on like a pair of f***ing stubs or something? No? So when do you think that maybe we could get these hearings going, huh?
Next December?
I don't think so.
No, September?
You're getting warmer.
July?
Warmer?
How about 1 o'clock this afternoon?
Bada bing. Call Maureen Dowd, okay, somebody? We got a f***ing scoop.
Sorry to interrupt, but this late development just... No, Rush, I'll take this. This late development just in. Back at the White House, it's reliably reported that First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton has just been placed in quarantine inside a plastic bubble in the Executive Mansion's living quarters as a precautionary measure. The step was taken moments ago by James Carville, Paul Begala, and Surgeon General Joycelyn Jemima, after it was determined that being close to Mrs. Clinton in recent months has had about the same effect on personal well-being as being directly exposed to the hantavirus. The Surgeon General says if Miss Clinton is found to be infectious, she will be labeled with a warning sticker that reads, "Caution, close proximity causes careers to go in a toilet," or wind up, in the park.
Meanwhile, United States Park Police are reportedly on an investigation call at a Washington Woodward and Lothrop department store at this hour, where it's just been discovered that a window display suit dummy dressed in tennis wear is, in fact, the body of the late White House Deputy Counsel Vincent Foster. According to the Park Police preliminary report, finding a body posed as a suit dummy wearing tennis togs in a department store window is not inconsistent with previously known gunshot suicide patterns.
And finally... No, there's no finally. What? Here, read this.
Oh.
Hit the jingle, Lou. Why are we mocking?
I'm not doing anything.
Why are we mocking the Mac Man? I'm sitting here having a cup of coffee. Okay. That I had to nearly go get myself. Because Bernard's cops an attitude down, not having coffee and lose sick. and the intern's so fat he can't get the coffee. Yeah, no, what's the matter?
Who got you that cup of coffee?
I don't know.
Who made the pot?
Bernie got it and Lou made it.
There you go. And the intern did it.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
The police detective who responded to the Simpson estate also testified and talked about photographs of a bruised Nicole Simpson. Also, Johnny Cochran, it's pictures, Johnny, not pictures.
Yeah, what is that?
Take any more pictures of her?
Jesus, so my brother, you on TV, my brother?
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Well, a boy named Newt.
He came into the world from the right side of town, Georgia boy who was big and round, and his mom and dad thought they were being cute. Because even though he was their pride and joy, they christened him unlike all the other boys. I tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Newt. He dedicated his life to the GOP, wanted to be speaker since the age of 3, dreaming one day he'd wield power absolute. He's a guy who spends a lot of time in the fridge, and it's no wonder he wants to bring back the orphanage. You would too if your parents named you Newt. He learned how to add and how to divide, married his math teacher, and multiplied, but when he went to subtract himself as a matter of course, it was slimy and low rent, the media said, to visit his wife in her hospital bed to get her to grade his paper for a divorce. Well, it may be because he hails from the South, but he's got a little problem controlling his mouth, making statements that the media thinks are crude. Sometimes he pushes the envelope, like saying everybody at the White House is smoking dope, but he don't mean no harm. That's just old Newt. When he went to D.C., Mr. Gingrich swore someday he'd be there on the Capitol floor, chucking out liberals with a big self-satisfied sneer. And it took almost half a century to get Republicans back in the majority, but when it happened, he said, "My name is Newt. How do you do? All you commies out of here." All you atheists had better beware. School children's heads will now be bowed in prayer, beseeching the Lord to get rid of the poor and the queers. Because Newt and his Republican protégés are going to fix this country in just 100 days. I'm so proud of him, I'm on the verge of tears. If I had only one life to live, I'd still do it all as a conservative. But if I ever have a son, I think I'm going to name him Bob or Jesse, anything but Newt.
Rush Limbaugh here in the Imus in the Morning program. This is WFAN in New York. It's time for the news, and here with that is my ailing friend, Charles McCoy. Good morning, Charles. Good morning, guys. Free, the number 2 blues singer in the world.
What do you mean, number 2?
Because Delbert McClinton is number 1.
No, Delbert number 2. Yeah, he a big pile of number 2.
Shut up.
350 pounds of number 2.
Delbert don't weigh 350 pounds.
Not yet.
Delbert got some glasses, you see him?
No, I did not. He got glasses?
Yeah.
How come?
To see how fat he is.
You got a reason to sing the blues, I guess, huh? Buffet table, Mr. One Leg Blues, I guess. That's the blues they be singing. Here come the smorgasbord, baby.
What's going on? Here come Domino's. Oh, God. So you got a blues song for us?
I sure do.
What's it called?
This is the Surgeon General Blues.
Oh, okay. What are you doing?
My foot's asleep.
Oh, okay.
Pity Bubba Clinton, things just ain't been going his way. Ain't nothing too impressive on that presidential resume. Can't keep no Surgeon Generals, every one of them is DOA. See, he didn't respect his elders, so he made Joyce Ellen abdicate. For giving out them rubbers and telling the little children to masturbate. And now her career is terminal, and there's orders not to resuscitate. So listen, Henry Foster, take your medicine. You may be a doctor,
but nobody like your spin. Put that vacuum cleaner right back up there on the shelf. Here is Pete's prescription. Physician, heal thyself. Bubba, please call Marcus Welby, Ben Casey or Doc Kildare. But don't try and slip us no Hippocratic hypocrites. Get these witch doctors out of here.
Ooga booga. Well, I miss every white boy pig fish Dupree here on the... Shut up. I miss in the morning program.
Scalpel.
All right, here's my wife, Deirdre Coleman. Honey,
Yes?
am I henpecked?
No, not at all.
Yes, he is. Shut up, Fred.
Fred, you know, you cracked me up because you wanted to talk.
Hey, honey.
Yeah.
Who wears the pants in our family?
I do.
No, you're not supposed to say that. You know, here's the thing, Fred. You know why I'm not irritable with her?
I'll tell you why, because she'll slap the hell out of you.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Who cares what you think about Delbert? Delbert's great, and you just like to make fun of Delbert because you think it's amusing.
Well, Delbert's not great. Let's get by that right now.
Delbert will be in New Britain, Connecticut tonight at the Sting, and tomorrow night...
Putting gas in your car at the...
Delbert will be...
at the local Sunoco station.
Leave Delbert alone.
And then for a little extra money, he'll change your fan belt.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Well, in case you don't know what to get...
Imus in the morning, 2020 Sports. Long off the rim to the right, rebound, tip it out and pass to Dumars. Here comes the back. And jam by Grant Hill, who needed a tape on that leap. Whoa, my.
A tape on that leap. I like that one. I haven't heard that one, Joe.
Looked like Superman.
The West blows by the East, 139 to 112 in the NBA All-Star game in Phoenix last night. Joe McDonald and Wes Unseld with the call on NBA Radio. I'm Scott Muni. Imus in the morning, 2020 Sports.
Coming to us live from EI in Boston.
What a fabulous studio it is here, too.
Well,
Sharing it with a sheep.
I'm sure you are, but
Rap star two-pack Shaquille O'Neal demonstrated some of his patented Shaq Fu, scoring 22 points. But it was Sacramento Kings guard Mitch Redmond.
Well,
I don't know, some pantload.
Mitch Richmond.
He earned MVP honors with 23 points.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley showed off in front of the hometown fans, contributing 15. The bald-headed pantload obviously not getting it done due to the controversy surrounding him and ESPN. Apparently, Barkley's offhanded remark to a friend, words to the effect that he didn't like white people, were taken out of context by the network. Racial tension's not hot enough in this country. We need some cable sports station fanning the flames. At a press conference after the All-Star game, the Phoenix forward addressed the issue.
Well, first of all, I want to address something. I hear ESPN is trying to me, and you guys are trying to make a controversy. There's not going to be a controversy. I was joking around with one of my friends, and that's it. If you don't like it, you and your families too.
Boo!
Articulate, bon vivant, and raconteur Charles Barkley.
Why is that necessary?
Future gubernatorial candidate.
Yeah. Didn't he go back to Alabama to run for governor?
I go back to run for something, probably the county line.
Yeah, well.
All I know is I know how he feels. After working with you for the last 9 years, I hate white people, too.
Shut up.
Also part of the All-Star Weekend, the annual slam dunk competition. A boring affair highlighted by a special $1 million three-point shot attempt by Strongsville, Ohio teen Mike Hoban, who, after months of intensive training, stepped up to the line and promptly missed the shot by about 40 feet.
Oh, the poor kid.
Hoban, obviously crushed by his inability to earn a small fortune in 2 seconds by making a shot he'd done about 1 million times in his backyard, commented on his father's reaction to blowing the $1 million.
He called me a faggot, and then he pushed me and said, "You are a faggot."
Thanks for the support, Dad.
Well, this poor kid, God, did you see him?
Suck it up.
Well, no, but I mean...
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
It's a life lesson there, kid. Life sucks and then you die.
Well, that's probably true. Scott Muni, live from WEEI in Boston.
Hey, Mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. Imus in the morning. I don't care if it rains or freezes, as long as I got my plastic Jesus riding on the dashboard of my car. I can go 100 miles an hour as long as I got the almighty power. Stuck up there with my tariff 'cause he died.
hearken, gods of the sun. Here with a tale of woe today, dearly beloved. A story of trouble, of sorrow, degradation, trial, and tribulation. A story that cuts right straight to the breakdown of the nuclear family that's at the bottom of our societal collapse. A narrative, sisters and brothers, of the loss of love between a mother and her boy. And you know what I'm talking about. I know you do. Yes, friends, O.J. Simpson's mama ain't got no teeth. I said O.J.'s mama ain't got no teeth. Now, you probably saw her like I did, poor thing, sitting there on nationwide TV, 99-year-old with a mouth full of nothing. Just 3 poor old teeth hanging on for dear life, leaning every which way like a broke-down tombstone. My friends, O.J.'s mom was asking for America. Yes, sir, praise God. You heard her. You might have thought she was asking for America for O.J., but she wasn't. No, sir. She was asking for America for her mouth. She was asking for a set of teeth, friends. Well, I heard that call, and between you and me, we're going to answer that prayer. O.J. done granted dumped his mama. Left the girl without any teeth. Revealing just how he feels about women, friends. Anybody who wouldn't buy teeth for his mama will take a bone-handled knife to anybody, friends, to Miss America or Barbara Bush. Shunted to life saddened by spouse-flattering, waiter-splattering, 2-bit actor kid. Done left her a grit-strumming, harp-humming, banjo-strumming old lady. Where'd your teeth go, girl? Where's your choppers, mama? That poor scump IQ kid of yours knock him out? Is that what happened? Anybody who wouldn't buy teeth for their mama is guilty of whatever the charge says, friends. Praise Jesus. And friends, this shall not stand because you and me won't let it. And that's why I'm announcing a new charity drive today, beloved. Molars for Mama. You heard right. Molars for Mama. Gonna get the whole country behind me. Dialing for dollars for Molars for Mama. Somebody say bonding and porcelain laminates. We gonna rebuild your badly broken mouth, girl. We gonna reconstruct that caved-in kisser. Fix up that cavity of depravity. Knock the dents out of that mouth gone south. Yes, sir, friends. I want you to go to your phones right now. I want you to pick them up, and I want you to call me here in Del Rio, Texas. I want you to dial 1-800-PLUG-THAT-MUG. Let me give it to you one more time. 1-800-FIX UP the girl's mouth. And let's get some molars for Mama. Yes, she's going to smile again when we fix that vacancy so she looks like herself instead of Mom's Maybelline. Say hallelujah. Friends, can I get an amen now? I guess.
Altman, Webb Hubble, Vince Foster, Jocelyn Elders, to name just a few. And you know they're measuring up Ron Brown for one of those one-size-fits-all jumpsuits in traffic cone orange right now. And what do we get? Banjo-picking, fetus-flicking Dr. Henry Foster, Amos. We go from Jocelyn Elders, who looks like she ate 5 guys named Mo, to this fella who sounds like O.J. Simpson running up yardage as he tries to remember how many abortions he's done. Did you hear him on Nightline? Henry's running right. Henry's running left. He's at the 1, the 12, the 39, the 84. Looks like he was so casual about abortions that you would have thought he was catching fireflies in a pickle bottle, Amos. And, of course, his worst nightmare now, Jocelyn Elders is speaking out in his behalf. Is there no way that masturbating mama won't just go away?
You mean, beat it?
Oh, shut up, Amos. And speaking of women you cannot get rid of, Barbara Streisand. Yeah. How come Clinton can't appoint her to something? He might just as well. It sounds like she's in on more decisions than Warren Christopher. Everything from invading Haiti to picking this Doc Kevorkian of the pediatric ward. Can't say Perot finds himself agreeing with that New York Times friend of yours very often, that Frank Rich fella. Yeah. But he's got a pair of bioscripts on Streisand, making that speech at Harvard. Yeah. Do you remember that sinus medicine ad on TV that has that huge talking nose? Can't get it out of my mind, Amos. Yeah. That huge nose standing at a rostrum, preaching to an already converted bunch of culture-subsidizing eggheads who couldn't frame an issue in plain English if their life depended on it, and who are still in full-blown November 8th time. Hey, can I get in one O.J. question before I go?
All right.
Is that the damnedest, smartest dog you ever saw, or what, Amos? Sounds to me like the only thing he didn't do was to pin on a badge, drive a squad car to the murder scene, then go and drag O.J. out of his house and slap the cuffs on him. I mean, if the prosecution wants to win this thing, fire Hodgman and hire the dog. You can use that for your soundbite, Amos, and much obliged for having me on your show.
All right, here's my wife.
And Charles shouldn't say that. You don't have to be white. You don't have to be black to feel that way. Better off just not saying them. Because by not saying them, you will not create the tension that those remarks do create. Period.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Why are we mocking?
I'm not doing anything.
Why are we mocking the Mac Man? I'm sitting here having a cup of coffee. Okay. That I had to nearly go get myself because Bernard's cup's an attitude down. I'm having coffee and Lou's sick. and the intern's so fat he can't get the coffee. Yeah, no, what's the matter?
Who got you that cup of coffee?
I don't know.
Who made the pot?
Bernie got it and Lou made it.
There you go. And the intern did it.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Amos in the morning.
The police detective who responded to the Simpson estate also testified and talked about photographs of a bruised Nicole Simpson. Also, Johnny Cochran, it's pictures, Johnny, not pictures.
Yeah, what is that?
Take any more pictures of her? Jesus.
Oh, my brother, you on TV, my brother?
Amos in the morning on the Fan. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon. It's 12 o'clock. This is Iron Eagle.
He comports himself better in the courtroom.
Really?
He seems to know where he's going. His questions are phrased and framed better. It's his assistance, it does. What is so annoying? What really happened with that juror? Because the judge kicked off the...
Well, I can only tell you this. The official report from the court was that it was because she shared the same arthritis doctor as O.J. Simpson, and that doctor was now going to be a witness, and because she had arthritis. That was the official reason. Now, you heard this report carried in the Daily News out here in Los Angeles. She denies it. The juror denies that there was any kind of a physical shoving, pushing match, and she denies that there was any racial tension on the jury, that they discussed anything. I tell you, I mean, I've watched these jurors now for several weeks in the courtroom. This woman is a very petite, white-haired, 63-year-old woman who came into court every day and seemed to be very focused on what was going on. It would really surprise me if she was involved in any kind of physical...
He refused to identify.
And jewelry. If he just sold his jewelry, he could get out.
He could get out and buy the courtroom.
Yeah.
Tupac's road manager, Charles Fuller, who was also convicted of sexually abusing one of the rapper's female fans, is free on $350,000 bail. And if you're following all of this, no sentencing date for him has been set as yet. Imus in the morning news time. Now 3 minutes past 8 o'clock.
Hello, I'm talking with John Mayberry of Mayberry Steam Cleaning about the Bell Atlantic business-to-business Yellow Pages. John,
Hello?
Tell us how the B2B comes in handy.
Well, as you know, in my business, the pressure's always on.
Really?
Or at least it should be, huh? So at Mayberry, we like to stock a lot of backup equipment, things like compressors, hoses, clamps, and gauges.
Now I got you.
We use area suppliers from the B2B's Northern New Jersey edition.
Uh-huh.
And I might add, without the B2B, more than a few steam cleaners have found themselves in hot water.
I see.
Am I being too literal here?
Not at all, John. Well, there you have it. The Bell Atlantic business-to-business Yellow Pages helps make sure John's business never runs out of steam.
Or for that matter, steam-related equipment.
Figure your speech, John.
Oh.
To get your B2B, simply call 1-800-980-1888. The Bell Atlantic business-to-business Yellow Pages. For the business side of guys like John. For the business side of you. Bell Atlantic, the heart of communication.
The latest edition of Buy and Sell, New York's bargain guide for anything and everything, is at your favorite newsstand right now. In it, you'll find more computers, sporting goods, appliances, furniture, jewelry, collectibles, musical instruments, all kinds of new and previously owned stuff than anywhere else. In fact, Buy and Sell has put thousands of buyers and sellers together. Buy and Sell readers trust our reputation for fast, dependable, honest performance, not to mention prices that make flea market shoppers blush. So if you're in the market for anything and everything, pick up a copy of this week's Buy and Sell. If you're selling, pick up the phone and call 1-800-BUY-AND-SELL. That's 1-800-289-6735 to place your free classified ad in Buy and Sell. If it stops, starts, peels, or keels, you'll find it in Bylines. You'll find everything else in Buy and Sell, New York's favorite home shopping bargain guide. In New Jersey, Staten Island, and Rockland, pick up One Ad Press.
Hey, baby, you want to go out?
Hang on a second, baby. Hi, everybody. This is Bill Clinton. Look, I'm going to be tied up for a couple minutes here with one of my constituents. But y'all stay tuned, because here comes more of the Imus in the Morning program. Come over here, baby.
Here, Daddy. You look so good.
Thank you very much.
Imus in the Morning News Time, 5 minutes past the hour. It is time for the news with my friend Charles McCord. I did want to mention, we're going to talk to him here in just a second, that the Two Brothers and a White Guy is the name of the group.
By the LAPD, and he says unfairly, and has colored his view of the police. The fact that he's an African American is, I think, of less significance than the fact that he's had a bad run-in with the LAPD.
Well, he's 54 now. You got to get over that shit.
You know, the other thing is that he had been one of the jurors who in the afternoon was having a hard time keeping his eyes open, and I'd never seen him take any notes in the courtroom, but yesterday, his first day as one of the, quote, real jurors, he was just on ready alert and took notes all day. So
it's going to be a nightmare for the prosecution when they get the coroner on the stand and Mark Furman and those folks and Van Ett are just... it's frustrating for somebody who, in my particular case, is pulling for the prosecution, because it appears that the L.A. Police Department did everything wrong they could possibly do.
Yeah, there's no question. I think there's no question it was not an ideal investigation, and there were tremendous mistakes made, and the state is going to have to suffer through this. I mean, my recommendation is to put them on in the afternoon, because the jury seems less alert. Maybe that's the only hope. I suppose the problem with that is then they're up for cross in the morning. So maybe the way to do it is to put them on early and hope that the defense only can cross-examine them in the afternoon, and the jurors will have had a heavy lunch. But I mean, I don't know what they do. There are tremendous problems with Furman and with Dr. Golden, and
Boy, isn't he creepy looking at coroner? Ugh.
Well, you know, and there are all kinds of. Well, what about Marion Gertsch? You heard all that yesterday.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, I don't. Even if I'm dead, I don't want that creepy coroner working on me. Ugh. Well, I know I can't suck you into any of this. Let me ask you a question here now. Do you mind when we call you like this?
No, I'm just about to get up anyway. It's just Bernard that says the hotel operator.
Oh, okay. Because there's only a couple of people who you can get any straight answers from.
Well.
It'll be you, Fred Graham, and if you can get him settled down, Jerry Spence.
Jerry Spence has been in court lately, you know.
I know.
He's been terrific. He said the best thing the other day, I thought. We were all watching O.J.'s reaction to Denise Brown and to various other witnesses, and, you know, one day he threw this pen across the counsel table, and we were all talking about what that meant between ourselves. And Jerry said, you know, Cynthia, the thing to remember is the question I always ask jurors before a trial. And I said, what's that? He said, how is an innocent man supposed to look? And I said, what do you mean? He said, you know, the bad information comes out, the bad testimony comes out. Is he just supposed to sit there and not respond and look passive? Is he supposed to be angry? He says, either way, he loses. If he's angry, he can't control himself. If he's passive, it means he's accepting the bad information. He said, it's a terrible problem how a client behaves in the courtroom.
They could do like those fans do when these disgruntled fans do with sports teams. You know, they put these bags on their head, be the unknown fan. Maybe you could just get like I guess not, huh?
Well, he said that he had often argued for a burlap bag for his client, but he didn't think it was a very good thing.
Unknown defendant, that kind of deal. Well, last time we talked to Jerry Spence, in fact, we had him on, and he said he was going back. He said he'd been fired by NBC, and he was going back to Wyoming. And then that afternoon, I guess they rehired him, and that afternoon, he told me
you saved his job.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but the guy's a multi-millionaire. What's he care about working for NBC?
You know, he wears his buckskin to court.
Yeah, I know.
His hat and everything. And yesterday I was going to the metal detector, and one of the people who's in the public seats in the back of the courtroom came over to me and said, I know you. I know you. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, you interviewed Buck. And I said, what? She meant Jerry Spence. So now we all call him Buck.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. We really appreciate it.
Nice to talk to you, Imus.
Cynthia McFadden, who is a legal affairs correspondent for ABC News, and hopefully that big Gumby-looking stooge, Rick Kaplan, will put her on tonight.
Yeah.
With that wussy Peter Jennings.
Wake
World
up.
News Tonight.
My hobbies in life, what? Sex, money, and murder. From your bitch, run up, money from the crack. Death is a fact. Murder is a hobby. Murder is a hobby. Murder is a hobby that I have since way. I think this is the way I live. Pain and torture, believe in life. Sex, money, and murder. Imus in the morning.
People have been moved out of jobs because they have to get under a cap, and that's just what the baseball players don't want. That's a wrap on today. See you tomorrow, folks. Bye-bye.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan, WFAN.
How you doing, Jack? All right?
I'm doing well.
Nice, man. It's great
I heard
to
the
see you.
news. I heard the news out in St. Louis that you're getting married.
Yeah.
Does she have money?
No, she doesn't have it.
She will on May 7th. Mike and the Mad Dog from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. This is Ian Eagle. Sports on WFAN, the flagship station of New York Rangers hockey.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's Mike and the Mad Dog on the Fan. Nothing can get by 'em. Turn it on and try 'em.
Mike and the Mad Dog. WFAN.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? Christopher Russo on the Fan on the 13th day of February, 1995. Good to have you with us with the Wesleyan Flash, Jeff Hughes across the way, Robert W. Gelb. He here today, too. We'll have Leonard Hamilton have about 4 hours of calls sometime in the afternoon. Nice to have you with us. A busy day indeed on a Monday in the Big Apple. Mike's still on vacation, back with us on Thursday, I believe, and hopefully his knees are okay. I know he was going to do some, maybe a little tricky knee surgery today, get that knee back together again. I wonder if that is taking place. Maybe we'll hear from him a little bit later on. John's later on the Fan. Enjoy your Monday on Fan and Rooney. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
Bold self-immersion into the idiot culture by Broadcasting's elder statesman, Walter Cronkite.
Reporting to you this morning dressed in a diaper and spreading butter on my nipples. Why? Because I am slowly going mad, strained to the snapping point by everything I see going on around me in the information profession I once held so dear. Now we have the irony of two of journalism's most respected voices, the celebrated investigative reporter Carl Bernstein and the eminent Washington Post commentator Jonathan Yardley, censuring their colleagues for despoiling the hallowed halls of the Fourth Estate. Their dissent takes different paths. Bernstein thumping his chest in condemnation of anybody who lacks a backstage pass to his insulated cocoon of elitist snob scribes. Yardley, with a more limited field of fire, cited in on the New York Times and two of its luminaries, Frank Rich and Maureen Dowd. The results, however, all overlap. Bernstein sanctimoniously denouncing what he might describe as the heraldoization of America. That is, creation by the media of a national idiot culture. And Mr. Yardley locating a case in point for Mr. Bernstein's thesis in Frank Rich's admittedly breathless account of Barbara Streisand's recent address to the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. From From their different angles of perspective, both Yardley and Bernstein denounced legitimate journalism's swan dive into the trivial, the lurid, and the loopy. And yet, simply by engaging the issue, do they not both become participants in the very outrage they decry?
Oh, yeah.
What a couple of bare-faced pantloads, if I may be forgiven the sort of calumnious comment that digs Mr. Bernstein so. Carl contends that the only way to reverse course in American journalism, to set things right and disengage a press that seems driven by little more than throbbing penises, smoking barrels, and spurting aortas, is to shame those of us, as he includes himself, with strong voices in straight journalism, into speaking out.
Yeah.
People such as 60 Minutes' Don Hewitt, Mike Wallace, Ben Bradley, Bob Woodward, David Halberstam, Gay Talese, he includes even, for God's sake, and Tom Brokaw, who I might remind Mr. Bernstein faces his greatest challenge in speaking, period. Out, in, sideways, you name it. Now, in a few words, Yardley's lament is that Barbra Streisand addressing a Harvard audience is reciprocal, fatuous, bloated ego stroke, signifying nothing except to expose the deeply mutated structure of the New York Times assignment desk. Though clearly neither intended it, the light that shines brightest from both pieces, I think, is that which reflects most directly on their authors. The angle of incidents, revealing both to be quite similar, really, to those they complain about. Ego-driven, envious dirt dishers with dictionaries. Yes, the sun can't set too soon on this pair of over-vocabularized sob sisters, writing for an esoteric cult of dewy-eyed saps who, following their essayists like lemmings, have taken a permanent detour off Main Street, USA. For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite. Thank you, and bite me.
Speaking of all that, coming up tomorrow on the imus78 program, a man who will cry out against the idiot culture. I'm the official spokesman of the idiot culture, man. By the way, Mike Wallace will be.
Time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once. Imus in the morning.
2020 sports.
Happy Valentine's Day, sports fans. Good morning. This is Mike Green with Sports, with advice to take time today to look away from your favorite sporting event and tell your honey or your boss,
Yeah,
I love you.
that's nice.
Don Nelson told the Golden
Are you
State
saying that
Warriors.
to me?
Well, you can take it any way you want.
Because you want to leave early to go to Detroit, don't you?
Yes.
The answer's no.
Now, so who's going to do the game tonight?
Let Walt do it.
Yeah.
By himself?
Sure. The former NBA All-Star, isn't he? Isn't he in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, he is.
Why, because he's a black... Here comes the buffet, baby. What you gonna have? Are we eating in or are we going...
Are we eating out?
Yeah, so, were you there when this 16-year-old kid tried to make that $1 million shot?
Was right there.
In case you're not a sports fan, the Foot Locker people had a national contest and then a drawing, and one person got to, it was only open for children, kids, teenagers, whatever.
I'm not sure.
Okay, anyway.
Over 6 million ballots.
6 million ballots, and this kid from Strongsville, Ohio, he won the right to try a three-point shot, which is now 22 feet in the pros or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
22 feet what?
22 feet.
Okay. And if he made it, he would make $1 million. I guess he was a pretty good basketball player, and he probably could make it in his backyard every, And he predicted that he would swish, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And he threw up an air ball.
Right. Kind of freaked out prior to going out on the court. A little nervous.
So he's 16 years old, and he blew $1 million, and
it's by 4 feet.
Yeah, I mean, he really just was pathetic.
Oh, my gosh.
And he cried, and you felt sorry.
Oh, that's too bad.
Kid. But his dad said, someone asked his dad after how he felt about the kid blowing $1 million, and his father said, my kid is worth more to me than $1 million. Which got me to thinking about what I would have said.
Yes.
I would have said, first of all, he's not my kid. That's number one. He's adopted. And I figured now's as good a time as any to point that out. And second of all, he's a choking little wussy. Jesus gosh. Every 5 hours in the backyard, you make this shot all night, you come down here and you choke, get out. Go to your room and stay there till you're 55 years old.
Never run your mouth again.
God, get out. If it's a car, I'll run over you with a car. What are you talking about?
At least it won't be emotionally scarred.
Well, Oh, he's going into therapy. There's no question. You think he'll get some grief when he goes back home? Oh, no, they'll be very sympathetic. His little peer group. Well, what was his name? Mike Hobbit. Let's try Mike.
Yeah.
Like that.
Loser.
Yeah. Of course, he was white. Let's turn this into a racial issue, you want to?
Larry Bird hit it for you.
Uh-oh. North Dakota with Scott Muni. Scotzo.
That was Dead-Eye Dick with New Age Girl, cut off the Dumb and Dumber soundtrack, which, if you listen to Carl Bernstein, would be a movie that is further evidence that we are an idiot nation.
If you listen to me, it's further evidence.
Well, there's a news flash there, huh? Did this mongoose-faced pantload just wake up out of a coma? Where the hell you been, Carl? You hear the Beatles broke up? Man, he really has his finger on the palms of pop culture, huh?
Well,
he is an idiot. I mean, he probably started the trend towards the dumbing of America back when he thought he could screw around on Nora Ephron.
That's not necessary.
He whines about the lack of an escape route from the lurid and loopy confines of tabloid TV. Hey, Carl, I got news for you. It's art imitating life here. If there was no such thing as the O.J. Simpson case, there wouldn't be an evening news. It's current events. You used to work for a paper, didn't you? Well, why don't you try reading one every once in a while? Diane Sawyer asking Marla Trump if it really was the best sex she ever had is a viable question. And one, by the way, which any American who had the chance to interview her would have asked. We want the gory details because tabloid TV is comforting.
Yeah.
It makes us think that we're not as abnormal as we suspect. I watch Oprah and see women who love men who love sheep, and I feel good knowing that somebody else's life is more f***ed up than mine. I do agree with one point Bernstein makes. There is an overabundance of slimy stories.
Yeah.
So many, in fact, that sometimes perfectly juicy ones get knocked off the front page by others considered to be more newsworthy. If there was no such thing as the O.J. case, the Colin Ferguson trial would be the lead story every night.
Yeah.
Here's this guy, who's too unstable to even work for the post office, defending himself in court for shooting a bunch of people on a commuter train. Only in America, man. Only in America. You can't make this up, Carl. He's cross-examining the people he shot. Can you identify the man who shot you? Yeah, you. Do you see that person in the courtroom? Yeah, you. Would you point that person out to the court? Yeah, you shot me. Let the record show that the witness identified defense counsel. Stranger things have happened than this nutlog getting himself acquitted. Next thing you know, he's on TV at 3 o'clock in the morning doing his own commercials. Hi, I'm Colin Ferguson. Are you the victim of a violent crime? You may be entitled to a cash settlement. We here at the law firm of Ferguson & Ferguson are eminently qualified to handle your case. Because not only am I the lead litigator of Ferguson & Ferguson, I'm also a client.
Imus in the morning.
Well, it's Joe Bennett. Roger Ailes. The rest of you Nazi fascist goons.
Well, I don't care what you think, but liberals stink, and Democrats almost as lame. All those Negroes and Jews, they give me the blues. Our country's dying, and Clinton's to blame. The Nazis are wrong, and they don't belong in my conservative-minded domain. But let's call a truce, stick your head in this noose, and don't let me hear you complain. 'Cause I like friends with white faces and a burning cross that you know chases those Jews away. Then we call it a day. Oh, we're mighty big on the master races. We wear slip-on sheets and pillowcases. Oh, I like friends with white faces. Well, I and my peers, we don't tolerate queers. Show them what an axe handle's for.
You wouldn't believe what we did to this painted swastikas on his front door. I'm proud as can be, 'cause the whole EIB think I could be president someday. But I'm just a man of letters, you see, and they all spell K. 'Cause I like friends with white faces and a burning cross that you know chases those views away. Then we call it a day. Oh, we're mighty big on the master races. We wear slip-on sheets and pillowcases. Oh, I like friends with white faces. I like friends with white faces and a burning cross that you know chases those views away. Then we call it a day. Oh, we're mighty big on the master races. We wear slip-on sheets and pillowcases. Oh, I like friends with white faces.
Rush Limbaugh here on the Imus in the Morning program. Mike Wallace tomorrow.
Knowing the day I was born, the nurses all gathered round. They gazed in wide wonder at the joy they had found. The head nurse spoke up, said, "Leave this one alone." She could tell right away that I was bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Bad. Bad to the bone.
Imus in the morning.
If you need a new mattress, don't sell it. And we'll talk about it when it's finished, okay?
Okay, fine.
All right, here you go, babies.
Well, a redneck nerd in a bowling shirt was a guzzling Lone Star beer, talking religion and politics for all the world to hear. They ought to send you back to Russia, boy, or New York City one. You just want to doodle a Christian girl and you kill God's only son. I said, has it occurred to you, you nerd, that that's not very nice? Which Jews believe it was Santa Claus that killed Jesus Christ. You know, you don't look Jewish, he said, near as I could figure. I had you lamped for a slightly anemic, well-dressed country nigger. Now they ain't making Jews like Jesus anymore. They don't turn the other cheek the way they done before. He started into shouting and a spitting on the floor. Lord, they ain't making Jews like Jesus anymore. He says, I ain't a racist, but Aristotle Onassis is one Greek we don't need. And them niggers, Jews, and Sigma News, all they ever do is breed. And wops and mix and slopes and spicks and spooks are on my list. And there's one little heap from the heart of Texas. Is there anyone I missed? Well, I hits him with everything I had right square between the eyes. I says, I'm gonna get you, you son of a bitch. You spouting that pack of lies. If there's one thing I can't abide, it's an ethnocentric racist. Now you take back that thing you said about Aristotle Onassis. And all ain't making Jews like Jesus anymore. We don't turn the other cheek the way we done before. You could hear that honky holler as he hit that hardwood floor. Lord, they sure ain't making Jews like Jesus anymore. All right.
Raymond of the Texas Jew Boys, along with Willie Nelson and the Southern Slope Willie Fong Young, and a bunch of them other folks. All right, let's go back to Joan now in Boynton Beach, Florida.
I want to say one thing. I'm going to say that we live in a sick society today, and fostering a parody like that is not funny. Take care. Have a good day. I wish you a good life.
Hello?
Oh, my God.
Wait a minute. That means she's not going to listen anymore?
I can think that's a safe assumption.
Well, they ain't making Jews like Jesus
No,
anymore.
they're not. They only made one.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and she's pretty much evidence of that.
It was always so easy to find an unhappy woman till I started looking for mine. Imus in the morning.
If you don't have... He named Fred.
You know what's wrong with four-legged Fred?
No, Fred, what is wrong with your dog?
He's horny.
You know, then we have to be chastised by people like Carl Bernstein.
Exactly.
His dog's
hornier than two dogs.
Well, fine.
So I have to get him neutered. That's what they're recommending. But you know they have these sperm banks? Because, if you ever wanted to have puppies by him?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how they extract it. He doesn't have any hands.
You know, Jesus, God, why is this necessary? Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
Do you have any of those penthouses?
Please
laying
make
around?
it stop.
I think that's up to the owner, Fred.
Jesus, God almighty.
I think you have to light a couple of candles and warm up some dog food.
Yeah.
And say, come over here, four legs.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Am I henpecked?
No, not at all.
Yes, he is.
Shut up, Fred.
Fred, you crack me up because you're one to talk.
Hey, honey.
Yeah.
Who wears the pants in our family?
I do.
No, you're not supposed to say that. You know, here's the thing, Fred. You know why I'm not irritable with her?
Because I'll tell you why, because she'll slap the hell out of you.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning. Who cares what you think about Delbert? Delbert's great, and you just like to make fun of Delbert because you think it's amusing.
Well, Delbert's not great. Let's get by that right now.
Delbert will be in New Britain, Connecticut tonight at the Sting, and tomorrow night...
Putting gas in your car at the...
Delbert will be...
at the local Sunoco station.
Leave Delbert alone.
And then for a little extra money, he'll change your fan belt.
Shut up.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
There are certain things.
And don't tell me how smart they all are when they screw up ownership. That's a wrap on today. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Bye-bye.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN.
Joe Tollison with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Rangers hockey.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66, WFAN. They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's Mike and the Mad Dog on the Fan. Nothing can get by 'em, turn it on and try 'em. Mike and the Mad Dog, WFAN.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? Nice to have you with us on a Tuesday in New York. Good to have you aboard. As we talked about the world of sports, Jeff Hughes, Bob Gelb, and we're trying to add a little sanity to this radio program today. After I hear Russ for 4 hours tell me, you know what, baseball, Babe Ruth is a kid's game. This is the real thing. I'm getting so sick of all these union guys sitting there telling me that somehow, some way, the union is getting absolutely screwed by the owners. What an absolute joke. And then Dick Moss coming up at 6. Knicks and Pistons tonight. No Daughtry's updates. Enjoy your Tuesday on the Fan. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
If you're Clark, and that's what's happening. I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Rangers hockey.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
6:05 here in the Fan. I'm Susan Waldman. I'll be here until midnight. Of course, we have a Knick game, 7:05, the network pregame show. Knicks out in Detroit take on the Pistons, and gosh, am I so glad that they're getting ready here for the second half of this season. Did you watch the All-Star game that whole weekend? No one can dunk. No one can shoot. It's amazing. The dunk contest, think Dr. J, think Dominique, think Michael. Bill Dockery's sitting here laughing. Put the mic on. Am I right?
Morning. Continuing his mission to regain political viability, here is the billionaire industrialist, founder of United We Stand, H. Ross Perot.
Amos, saw that item in the Washington Post the other day about what Bill Bennett had to say about you? Yeah. It's just sad. Campaigning to keep some of his elitist playmates off of your show. Yeah. The only way I can figure it, Amos, he's got to be suffering from depression. Must have come out of the shower, and before he could get his sarong winched up around that Brahma belly, must have caught a glimpse of himself in the mirror and thought, Jesus, save the manatee. I'm sensing a lot of anger in the boy, Amos. Yeah. You know, I'm a stuffed sow. I can't discipline myself. Women look at me and shudder. I never had an original thought, as I demonstrated in my book of Purloin Platitudes. I'm irrelevant. I can't get on a dais with anybody other than Phyllis Schlafly, Fred Barnes, Robert Dornan, or Ollie Noah. I can't find a gig. And my brother's a $500 an hour lawyer with half the Clinton administration locked up on retainer. Just pitiful. The boy's been a walking dead end ever since Bush got blown out. Yeah. And now he sees you increasingly popping up above the slop trough. And so you're a victim, Amos, caught in the crosshairs of an obese pansy. Why? You're a huge multimedia success. He's using up somebody else's oxygen. And speaking of irrelevant figures, I also saw that Carl Bernstein's still living. Is that right? And in fact, complaining that things, well, just like this, are creating an idiot culture in the country. If there's an idiot culture, Amos, let me tell you who's a charter member. He is. He's the idiot in the culture who still thinks Carl Bernstein matters. He didn't matter way back there when Bob Woodward couldn't get rid of him. There's only one way that collaboration could have lasted as long as it did, Amos. Yeah. Bernstein had naked pictures of Woodward with a chicken. The only explanation. Anyway, it's time all these here unbidden experts dealt with the real issue, Amos, and that is that this here is how you really are. A contemptible, hidebound, one-sided, irritated, fuse-haired, raging, snarling cur who thinks the top story of 1994 was caning that kid in Singapore. I got another idea for you for a new program promo, Amos. Better reflects the true nature of your effort here than just all-hate radio. So let's see if Mr. Bennett's paying attention. How about hate? It's a two-way street. You know, you ought to think about a third party of your own, Amos, with all this new power. People can hate you before you even ever get in. Let's jumpstart her like this. Bernstein and Bennett, cultivation nuts. Vote for Amos. He hates your f***ing guts. There's your first 1996 bumper sticker, Amos, and much obliged for having me on your show.
Rabbi Mark Gelman and Monsignor Tom Hartman are here, and I haven't seen you since we were there in Monument Valley.
That was a wonderful experience.
So, you know the guy who married us? The Navajo? No, not a Navajo, the Navajo. God, what's the matter with me?
Who knows?
He screwed up the marriage license, you know.
Yeah, I heard he just had to fill in some more blanks.
We got that straightened out.
He wrote down Grandpa Lewis by mistake.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
You're going to a circumcision, right?
Yeah.
Here's something else, you know, you get to thinking about it. There isn't that much difference in that and appearing here, is there? I mean, really, you're pretty much dealing with the same thing.
Yeah, there is a difference. There is a difference. In the circumcision, the pain is the kids.
A lot of yucks from the rabbi there.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
It's 25 after 6. Imus in the morning. Well, here's Delbert now. great Delbert McClin.
Oh, man.
The Imus of the Morning theme song, that along with Ain't Making Jews Like Jesus Anymore from Kinky Freeman, Victim of Life Circumstances from Delbert.
Sure.
That's on that honky.
Well, embarrassed at home by the Miami Heat 122-111. Game was rough on some Knicks fans as well who attended the game at Madison Square Garden, as described on the Knicks radio network. Pass deflected out of bounds by Rice. It's still Nick ball, 5 on the shot clock, and that basketball hit a woman at about the 4th row on the deflection. She appears to be a little shaken up.
She was probably running her mouth like most women instead of watching the game.
Yeah, I like them bodacious, but never loquacious.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Walt Frazier, mired in his 70s. Walt looks like he just walked out of a Shaft movie. Exactly right.
Fly.
Get that fur coat, get that pimp mobile going again.
Get out on 11th Avenue and work your ass, bitch.
Imus in the morning.
Swiss Miss Hot Cocoa drinker Nancy.
Hey, Bubba, come here. I want you to meet somebody. My name's Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump. Well, I'm pleased to meet you, son. My mama used to say, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Well, that's very true, Forrest. Say, would you like a tour of the White House? My mama used to say, the White House is like a box of chocolates. There's little doilies underneath everything. This is the Oval Office, Forrest. I apologize for the mess, but you can see I'm in the middle of trying to get a new Surgeon General confirmed. My mama used to say Surgeon Generals are like a box of chocolates. Always seem to be some nut. All the major decisions in my administration are made from the Oval Office, Forrest. My mama used to say, your administration's like a box of chocolates. A lot of gooey stuff is hard to swallow. Your mama was a very wise woman, Forrest. She must have been just like my wife. My mama used to say, your wife is like a box of chocolates. Sweet on the outside, but a lot of fat on the inside. Hey, Beavis, why are you hanging out with Forrest? Because, like, he makes me look smart. I see. He makes you look smart, too. Well, say, Forrest, you wouldn't be interested in a cabinet position, would you? Well, stupid is as stupid does, sir.
I could get tired of that quickly. I don't know how that ever got by me in production, man. How did I sit back in production and allow that to get on the air? Do you know? What was I thinking about?
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, what do I, you know, that was one of those days where I had my mind on something else and we're back there for hours anyway. And you have to keep your eye on Joey at all times because Joey could at any moment
Knife you.
he could stick a knife in you.
Expose himself.
You think just like a woman.
Wow.
Yes, do you make love just like a woman? Yes, do then you ache just like a woman.
What's your point?
But you break just like a little girl. Imus in the morning.
The players' philosophy for the last decade is to wait the owners out. Well, now that the owners have waited the players out, Fear doesn't have a second recourse. Big problem. Big problem.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Rabbi Mark Gelman and Monsignor Tom Hartman are here, and I haven't seen you since we were there in Monument Valley.
That was a wonderful experience.
So, you know the guy who married us, the Navajo? No, not a Navajo, the Navajo. God, what's the matter with me?
Who knows?
He screwed up the marriage license, you know.
Yeah, I heard he just had to fill in some more blanks.
We got that straightened out.
He wrote down Grandpa Lewis by mistake.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
You're going to a circumcision, right? Yeah. Here's something else, you know, you get to thinking about it. There isn't that much difference in that and appearing here, is there? I mean, really, you're pretty much dealing with the same thing.
Yeah, there is a difference. There is a difference. In the circumcision, the pain is the kids.
Imus in the morning on the fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon at 3 o'clock. This is John Minka.
66. That's the players been holding out. If you do a secret ballot and ask them about the Usry proposal, I guarantee a lot of them would accept it. Coming back.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Listen, Mike. March 22nd and 23rd.
Sir named Steve, we decided to leave for a gathering of men. With our drums in our hands and our hearts on our sleeve. We stood around in the rain just to share in our pain and learning to grieve. So paint me on velvet and do not disguise the bright silver teardrop that you brought to these eyes. Sailed me out by the roadside, and there we'll all be. Jesus and Elvis, the dogs playing poker, and Willie and me. Help, I'm wide and I can't get down. Got two left feet planted on the ground. I need some help if I do town. Help, I'm wide and I can't get down. Imus in the morning.
Hi, welcome to CompUSA.
Yeah, look, I'm a very
Busy exec with no time for chit-chat, and you need a new computer, right?
Exactly. How did you know?
Here at CompUSA, we know what our customers want.
Wow, that's really incredible.
Thanks. Most people are pretty impressed with what we do here, and I have a motto
I
that...
thought you knew I had no time for chit-chat.
CompUSA has 0% interest and no payments for 6 months with no minimum purchase. So get the Packard Bell 90 megahertz Pentium processor multimedia computer. It has a double-speed CD-ROM drive, 8 megabytes of RAM, a 540 megabyte hard drive, sound card, stereo speakers, and a ton of pre-installed software. And right now, the Packard Bell 90 megahertz Pentium processor multimedia computers at CompUSA for a guaranteed low price.
You know, I saved a lot of money on my new computer.
Well, CompUSA is the computer superstore.
You CompUSA guys make buying computers easy. But I do have to run. I got to pick up my dry cleaner.
Here, I got it for you.
Thanks.
They missed a spot on your blazer, but I was able to get it out.
That was my monogram.
Offer price $121.95, subject to approval if not paid in full within 6 months of purchase. Finance charges assessed from purchase date. Variable APR of 22.3% as of 12/15/94.50 minimum finance charge may apply. Call 1-800-COMP-USA.
If you've been thinking about getting a new car, now's the time to check out the new 95 Oldsmobile Achieva.
My mind's set on a different car.
But the Achieva's a lot of car for your money. $199 a month.
Great, only $199 a month? Then it gets complicated once I start adding the options I want, right?
Not really. An airbag is standard. So are anti-lock brakes.
For $199 a month?
That's right. So is front-wheel drive, 150 horsepower engine, air conditioning, automatic transmission, AM/FM stereo.
All standard. That's pretty much what I want.
How about auto door locks, a tilt steering wheel, front bucket seats, remote trunk release, center console, and room for 5?
All for $199 a month? Where do I get one?
It's your good old Sky.
I'm on my way.
See, the Achieva really is a lot of car for your money.
Lease the 95 Achieva for $26.96 down to $198.54 a month for 36 months for a total of $71.47.44. Total due at lease signing $31.19.54, which includes down payment, first month's payment, and security deposit, taxes, license, title fees, insurance, and $350 acquisition fee extra. Must take delivery from retail stock by January 29th, 95. For more details, call 1-800-717-OLDS.
And now, here on the Imus Morning program, my wife.
Oh, okay.
Deidre Coleman. Hi, honey.
Hi.
We're on the air here.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Good. Did you run?
Yeah, I'm just going downtown now. I just finished.
How far did you run?
I did 6 miles.
And how long did it take?
6.2.
And how long did it take you?
I don't know. I'm punching it up in my watch now. I think like 40. What is it? Wait, I'll tell you in a second. 46:24.
What, did you stop someplace?
That's 6.2 miles.
Yeah, I know. But...
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy day.
Well, go home and take your clothes off in front of the cat. See what I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye, honey. Well, that's pretty good, I guess. 46. We're just taking it easy, right?
I would think so, yes.
Yeah. I just say that to her, and then she just looks at me like, you idiot. Well, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, what a good deal this is. They have a bunch of new radio formats, hundreds of new TV stations. It's never been a better time to be in broadcasting than right now. And now's the time to call the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. For the past 30 years, thousands of men and women of all ages and backgrounds have been placed from coast to coast as DJs, VJs, news and sportscasters, talk show hosts, copyright production folks, commercial voiceover, broadcast sales, and the management deal. There's a new and expanded Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Stratford, Connecticut, and in the metropolitan area, another new Connecticut School of Broadcasting campus with them penthouse studios and classrooms of Route 7.